Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Tuesday, March, and the energies in the day adds up and reduced to number 3 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So when it comes to today, Tuesday, ruled by Mars energy, and Mars is in Aquarius, and also today the sun enters into Aries. With the spirit animal card, we are rocking with the otter energy. And with the otter energy coming out as the spirit animal, the otter energy brings me to our emotions. The otter deals with the emotion energy. And I also think about the community aspect of the otter. So with the way the otter came out and the fact that it deals with interactions with others, there's a community aspect of it. I think of connections. The way how this came out, it brings me to the thought of not feeling deserving of the support of others, or not realizing that that might be a thing. It brings me to the otter energy coming out in the reversal position brings me to receiving, being receptive, allowing ourselves to be good receivers, allowing ourselves to receive. I feel like that's the message that's coming up around the otter energy, emotions that we have around receiving. And that's something that I'm working on when it comes to receiving. When it comes to receiving others, that might be something that others might also want to reflect on also. Mars is the ruler of today, and Mars deals with our motivation. And Mars is in Aquarius energy. So with Mars in Aquarius energy, we're motivated by our connections. We're motivated by giving and being of service. And Mars in Aquarius, Aquarius is an energy that struggles with receiving, in the sense that with Aquarian energy, like Virgo energy and even Pisces energy, those energies are service-oriented energies. And most of the time when it comes to those energies, within childhood, through different experiences, life was perceived in a way that a person should be of service to others. A person should be a giver, or your presence alone could be a burden. Like, you should be of service, you should be of use. So a lot of the times, we find ourselves in the world feeling incomplete whenever we are in friendships, relationships, or connections with others who don't need us for anything, just wants us. Where it feels like, one's presence just being there without having to do something just feels uncomfortable, feels awkward. But at the same time, not necessarily Virgo, I would say, but I feel like Pisces and Aquarius energy, and Virgo too, I'm sure, but I feel more Pisces and Aquarius energy. I guess all the energies, if I'm being honest, because sometimes we give and we assume that others should know to practice reciprocity. And when they don't, we feel like we feel taken advantage of or feel like something was one-sided. But in all reality, it was one-sided, because whenever we give and feel like others are selfish because they didn't give back, we didn't give because we wanted to. We give not realizing that we were giving with conditions, but we're unconscious of our own conditions. And I feel like this could be such a complicated situation, in the sense that with what I mentioned about the energies, which reflects the psychology within a lot of us, where it's like, we like to be on the giving end of things because it makes us feel good about ourselves to be on the giving end of things. And, some of us have been conditioned or raised to feel like we should always be helping or being of service in some way. And our presence alone by itself and not being in service could be a burden. It's like, yes, we need to feel like we're giving, but at the same time, when that's not met with appreciation or reciprocity, we find ourselves feeling like we're being taken advantage of. But again, that's because we're holding others into some kind of contract or expectations, not realizing. And that's something that I had to work on, because for me, something clicked for me, and I realized that my self-worth was tied into what I gave and what I did. And I realized that because I found myself in situations where I felt like I was being taken advantage of, where I felt unappreciated, not realizing that if I was giving unconditionally, then I wouldn't have noticed that it wasn't appreciated. Because then that's me saying, if I know you wouldn't appreciate it, I wouldn't have given it. Then that means I'm giving with expectation. And when I realized that, I was operating in that way, where my self-worth came from what I did and how people felt, I also started paying attention to, the service that I would give and what I would do. And then I started making sure that whenever I gave or did something, I did it only because I wanted to, and only because it made me feel good. And when I operated from that space, I realized that it didn't matter what anyone did after, or how they respond, or whether they said thank you or not. It didn't matter. It's like you did it because you wanted to, so you don't even wait around to see what the response is. You don't even look to see what the response is. And once I started operating that way, I just felt more free. I felt more free. And also too, I stopped going out of my way to do what I didn't want to do because I thought it was the right thing to do. So when it comes to today's energy, I feel like someone needs to look into that. I feel like someone could find themselves today doing something because they think it's the right thing to do, but then find themselves complaining about the lack of appreciation or the lack of reciprocity. And if you find yourself today speaking about the lack of appreciation or the lack of reciprocity, say if it's at your job, then maybe you might need to find a job that pays you what you're worth. Say if it's your relationship or your connections, then you might need to ask yourself, why are you taking on the responsibility to do what it is that you're doing? Because clearly there's an imbalance in energy when it comes to it. It reminds me of being in the salon, where when I was in the salon and I would undercharge for my services, and then I would undercharge or do extra that I wasn't asked to. And then after maybe the person didn't show any appreciation to what I did, I would feel some type of way. Where once I learned my worth and I raised my prices to what they're worth, I didn't care. Like, it was always important to me that you love my work and you love your hair. But once I raised my prices to where I know they're supposed to be, where they cover my worth, whether a person tipped or not, it didn't matter, because I got what I deserve. Where, in conversations, I'll hear certain people saying this person never tips, or they never do this, or they never do that. For me, I always felt like a person might not even be able to fully afford the service. So I'm glad that they chose me for the service to begin with. But at the same time, once your prices are where they should be and you're getting what it is that you're worth, that you know your work is worth, for me, if the person didn't tip, I didn't care, because I felt like energy was equally exchanged. Or maybe if the prices were super cheap and I wasn't charging my worth, then, you know, I might have felt some type of way that they didn't show any appreciation. But I feel like that's what's coming up today, where it's like, you want to stop and ask yourself, are you putting yourself in a position where you're selling yourself short? And for me, I used to put myself in a position where I was selling myself short because I didn't know I was worth it. I didn't realize I was worth it. So my prices said I was worth it, even though my work, you know, was amazing. And I remember I would have some people say, like, why are your prices so cheap? Like, your work is so good. Why? And one thing I love when it comes to the beauty industry was Taurus. Love Taurus and beauty. Because one thing with Taurus, they are not going to as long as Taurus is getting, as long as they're getting what they pay for, getting good work, and they're leaving looking fabulous, Taurus is not going to complain about what you're charging. They're not going to complain about, you know, they're not going to complain about it. Libra, not that Libra would complain in a sense, like, to me with Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty. So is Libra. But I feel like the difference is Taurus to me is almost like in their life, they budget out for their beauty or whatever. And it's like, it's almost like some of us buying food, and you're going to buy the best food and you're not going to complain about the food prices. You know, you need to eat. I feel like with Taurus, when it comes to their services, that was the case. I remember in the salon, over the years, I became really cool with one of my clients who's a Taurus. And there were times when she would say to me, oh, girl, you need to raise your prices and you need to implement this kind of booking system because that's what my nail girl is doing. And we got to pay up front and do this and this and that. And she's telling me these things, and she's telling me you need to raise your prices. But she also knows that they're going to be raised for her too. She's not expecting a discount or any of that. She's just saying because she knows the work is good. And sometimes, you know, you have certain people around you that know that you're doing great work, and they'll tell you, but you haven't arrived to the point where for me, I feel like at some point in the very beginning, before I moved to Cali, I was operating from a fear consciousness mindset, in the sense that as an entrepreneur, and I guess I've been one my whole life, you know, when I was a CNA at 16, but by 18, I went to beauty school and was doing hair, even though I was doing hair since I was a little girl. But like being an entrepreneur and working for myself, I guess there was a part of me afraid that if I was too high, it would be too expensive and I wouldn't be able to make money and pay my bills. And it wasn't until moving across the country and gaining new experiences and seeing the world and seeing certain things, you know, and I needed to see what I needed to see to teach me how to pretty much value myself when it comes to my work and my worth. And after my experiences moving to Cali, like that changed, and I never looked back with anything when it comes to my worth. And I feel like that's the conversation today, your worth. And we have the moon opposing Pluto in Aquarius. And I feel like the moon is our inner world. Pluto is change. So there's something about squaring Pluto. The moon is squaring Pluto in Aquarius. And I feel like it's something about our sacred space, our home, and our public image. There's some kind of a challenge when it comes to that. And I just think of like Cancer energy on a whole, and the part of us that don't want to ruffle any feathers or create any problems. So because of that, like we try to do what will work for everyone. But I feel like, you know, sometimes we try to do what works for everyone and then find ourselves feeling resentful and robbed. So I feel like, you know, today's energy to me brings me to that mindset. It's like if you find yourself feeling like you're not appreciated it brings me to, are you overdoing and giving and holding people to contracts and don't even realize it? Are you doing things for people and not realizing that it's not genuine? Because if it was genuine, then you would never be keeping score. You would have never realized that you've done this for them 10 times and they've only done it for you 3 times. You wouldn't keep score. You wouldn't notice. And if you are keeping score, and you're holding them accountable, then you need to stop doing everything that you're doing and start doing what makes you feel good. Start operating from a selfish place when you're giving and doing. Do it because it makes you feel good. Do it because it excites you. And if it doesn't, don't do it. Or create some kind of an agreement and let it be known that, you guys are doing some kind of an exchange. But that's something that's coming up. And it's like, and if it's your job and they're not paying you enough because you feel like, they're asking for too much, that might be a sign that it's time for you to start sitting down and mapping out how you're going to take the wheel and take control. And I love this card, my favorite card, the 10 of Cups in the upright position. For me, is like minimalism and having it all in the sense, like you look in the whole families together, unlike say the 10 of Pentacles where like, dad is leaving or one parent is leaving while the other parent stays home and takes care of the family in order for them to have the big, beautiful home that they have and all that they have. It's like sacrifice needs to be made in order to maintain that lifestyle, where with this, they don't appear to have much, but they have each other and they're emotionally complete. They're content. They get to grow together and learn each other, opposed to like, say, the 10 of Pentacles, the one who goes off pretty much has a different life away from those at home. So to me, the energies in today brings me to, whether you're being challenged today or not, the energies in today brings you to the fact that you can have it all. For me, this is having it all, and it's possible to have it all. And today's energies will challenge you to that. The energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 3 vibration, and the number 3 is associated with Jupiterian energy. So there's some kind of tangible outcome today. Something, you could find yourself gaining something today, finally getting a call back for today, having some kind of tangible thing to represent the hard work that you've been putting in, or whatever it is that you've been doing. And with the sun in Aries, the sun is in a place, the sun moving into Aries today, that's positively aspecting the moon. So it's like the sun and the moon is in a place where they are speaking positively together, where who we identify as and the conversation that's happening within us, they work well together. So this is where we identify a certain way, but at the same time, how we speak to ourselves on the inside, it just works. So it's like something coming full circle. So when it comes to today's energy, I feel like something does come full circle, but it might not just come that easily. It might take some reflection, or might be a situation that pretty much causes you to look at what's happening. So this is where it's like, I don't like my job. So, okay, this is where you might need to start working on managing your finances, creating a budget for yourself along with a plan. They're not paying me well. Budget, plan, and how you going to get up out of this situation. But complaining about it is not going to do anything about it. And when it comes to today's energy, it brings me to self-worth, how our self-worth is connected to our net worth, and we should not be afraid to ask for what it is that we deserve. But you have to first know what you deserve to even ask for it. And it took me some time to realize that, but I'm glad that I did. And if you haven't realized that, trust me, it's going to click for you. I feel like this message is like an activation, bringing a person to that realization, because it's something that you've been questioning, especially if you feel like there has been an imbalance when it comes to the exchange of energy, when it comes to the what's going in and what's going out and what's coming in. Such a pleasure sharing this message with you. Hey guys, I want to share with you 7 benefits of getting a numerology natal chart awareness coaching session. The first one is understanding your internal programming. The second one is becoming more clear about your purpose and passion. The third is setting goals for success. The fourth is awareness of strength and areas of improvement. And the fourth one was foundational for me because whenever you're aware of your weaknesses, no one can use them against you. And when you're aware of your strengths, that makes you unstoppable. And that is why I say self-awareness is a superpower. The fifth benefit is removing obstacles. We first have to become aware of a thing in order to remove it in the first place. The sixth benefit is understanding relationship dynamics. We don't have to change the people in our lives. We have to become aware of ourselves and start from there, and everything changes. And the seventh benefit is upcoming transits, if that's something that you would like to look into because you're planning for something or you just want to be aware. So if you're interested in booking a numerology natal chart awareness coaching session or learning more about it, the link to book or the link to send me an email for questions are both within the description box below. If you'd like to check out my Patreon where I share exclusive content and also to become a part of the meetup group, which is my favorite thing on Patreon, the link to check out what's happening on Patreon is in the description box below. Please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a yellow heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.